What's up guys, welcome back to the DIY Haircut Studio. What I wanted to teach you today is the basics about holding the clipper. Arguably the biggest and most famous tool for haircutting, along with the scissors obviously, but in today's world this is the absolute essential. So what I have here is the Wahl Magic Clip. It's actually cordless as well, which is a big plus. So what I would say about this clipper is it is quite expensive. Now you do not need to have this type of clipper at all, to be honest. They're all roughly the same. The main advantage and the reason I paid extra for this was because it was cordless, and I was watching a lot of videos. All the people I saw had this clipper, so I'd say you don't need this. I'd recommend something a lot cheaper, especially if you're starting out, and then you could potentially one day upgrade to this one. So in terms of the basics about holding the clipper, so you usually want it to have it in your strongest hand. So I'm obviously right-handed, I hold it in my right hand. Clippers usually are designed for the right-hander, that's why the lever is in this position, so you can move it with your thumb. So what the lever does, and you can see this here if I zoom in, so it can move the top blade further or closer to the bottom blade. And now what that means is you can see the lever is pushed up right to the top of the clipper. That means that the blade is going to cut as close to your head or your skin as possible. So if I was to cut now, the blade is actually as close to my skin as possible. That would naturally give me what they call a skin fade, or zero hair here. That would be good to usually start off cutting or setting a guideline. What you would then want to do later on in the haircut is to move the lever slightly further out. So if I push the lever back down, I've created this gap between here and here, which is going to allow me to have a little bit more hair on the side. The first key point is the on switch. So this is actually very simple: on, off, on, off. Doesn't get more simple than that. So I'm not going to teach you to suck eggs, but what I would say is just make sure you are very careful when cutting someone's hair not to flick that accidentally. The other key thing to the clipper is how you necessarily hold it. So you can see here, this is generally how I'd tend to hold the clipper. 4 fingers on the back. You can see it usually has some sort of ridges which you can look out for. This clipper is extremely good for that. Some might not, but what I tend to say is have 1 finger a lot closer and the other 3 a little bit further back. And you want to have as relaxed grip as possible so you can have that sort of free motion. And you'll often see barbers, they do a sort of a flick out. This is only possible because they're holding it very lightly. So I think you can often see where people are holding it like this and they sort of don't want to do anything wrong, keeping their hand stiff. But what I'd really recommend is having that flexibility in the clipper. You can also see it's got this sort of thumb detail. I don't actually tend to use that too often, but it can be there to help. You're then very easily within reach with your thumb of the lever, and the same for the on off. And that is the basics of how I'd hold the clipper and use it when cutting hair. Thanks for watching guys, remember to hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching.